Guys, so in this video, we're going to go over the entire home buying process in the state of Pennsylvania. So every state does things slightly differently. So we're going to be very, very specific on how it works in Pennsylvania. So to start, I like to go over the types of agencies there are in Pennsylvania so that you understand what your realtor does and what the other realtor does on the other side of the transaction. So in Pennsylvania, there is a designated buyer agent, there is a seller agent, and then there is a dual agent. So in the buying process, if you were to work with us, I would be representing you and you only as the buyer's agent. The seller would be hiring a listing agent to represent them. And then if the dual agency occurred, it would be if I had that listing, we were working together as buyers, and you wanted to purchase that listing, I would be representing both you as the buyer's agent and the listing agent. Now, in Pennsylvania, the consumer needs to be okay with that relationship. So it needs to be disclosed to you that I am also working with the seller, and you would need to be comfortable with that. Otherwise, you don't need to agree to a dual agency. Also in Pennsylvania, there is a buyer's agency contract. So when you want to work with an agent, you need to sign a buyer's agency contract that will officially make them your agent for a specific amount of time, talking about the commission that they earn in the transaction and any other specifics that come along with the agency contract, so that you understand what the fiduciary is between the agent and yourself as the client. So it's very important that you have that conversation with your agent so you understand all the ins and outs of the relationship that you're getting into. All right, so now that you guys understand agencies, buyer agent, seller agent, dual agent, the next step in the process, the first step in the process, is finding a realtor you can trust. So luckily you have found our channel, and we would love to work with you if you're looking in the Philadelphia area. If you are interested in working with us after you watch our videos, please either go to our YouTube page for our contact information, or feel free to check out our website at thearagonagroup.com to find out more information about me and our team. We service the entire Philadelphia area, including all the suburbs and South Jersey. So if you're looking to make a move to Philadelphia and the surrounding suburbs, we can absolutely help you. So now that we're working together, the next step in the process is analyzing exactly what you're looking for in a house. So some of the criteria that you should be thinking about when planning on purchasing a house is, first and foremost, location. Where do you want to live? Now, the beauty of the Philadelphia area is there's a lot of really nice places to move to. So it really just depends on your lifestyle, your needs. Is school, your kid's school an issue? Is that something that you have to be mindful of? Is commute an issue? Is proximity to lifestyle activities an issue? Do you want to be more in the city? Do you want to be more in a rural or suburban area? So thinking about where you want to be location-wise is really the first step, because once we can figure out that, then all the other pieces in the dominoes kind of line up for us. So location is number one. As I'm sure you've heard 1,000 times throughout your life, location is the most important thing in real estate. It also determines value. So figuring out where you want to live, step number one. Step number two, type of house that you want. Do we know the size? Do you know how many bedrooms you absolutely need versus how many would be nice? Same thing with bathrooms. Is one full bathroom okay? Do we need a bathroom and a powder room? Do you need two full bathrooms? These things are very, very important to the lifestyle of you living in the house. Other things that are important: are you willing to do work? Maybe update a kitchen, bathrooms, flooring, or do you want to move into a finished house, ready to go, don't have to lift a finger when you move into the house? So these are questions that you need to think about. And if you are going to do work, do you have additional money set aside that you can make those repairs now or over time? So very, very important to be thinking about, do I want to buy a fixer-upper or even something which just needs some work versus something brand new? Other things to think about, and it's very specific to the Philadelphia area: do you need to have central air in the house? Or are you okay with putting in window units, or maybe adding mini splits down the road to the house? Believe it or not, in this area, there are homes that still do not have central air. So it is definitely a thing that you have to think about. And if central air is a must, then we can cut a certain amount of listings off of the list that you have going for you in the search. Some other things that matter: do you want a finished basement? Are you okay not having a basement? Are you okay with the basement being unfinished? There would just be storage area. Another thing is outdoor space. Do you need a yard? If you're looking in the city, are you okay with, a 10 by 10 concrete pad? Do you want a roof deck? Do you need to be close to a park? All of these things matter. So as you can see, as I'm going down the list, there's a lot of things that you need to be thinking about. Finally, how much do you want to spend on a house? So we're going to get into financing in a few seconds, but do you have a price range in mind? And when you're thinking price range, there is the final sale price, but there is also the monthly payment that is actually more important, because that's what you're going to be spending every month as long as you own this house. So let's get to financing next. So the next step in the process after you analyze your needs is talk about financing. So there's two ways to buy a house. One is cash. If you have the cash to purchase a house, it's very easy. You just need to know how much cash you have. Will that amount of cash be enough to buy the house you want in that location with the amenities and the rooms and all those other fun things we were talking about? If you don't have the cash, which is a majority of people don't have the cash, the next way to do it is to obtain financing through a lender. So I personally like working with local lenders in the Philadelphia area. They understand the market. They understand all the ins and outs of the transaction. In general, they will be a better concierge level service than a big bank. But if you do have a relationship with a big bank and you want to use them, you can use them. It's your purchase. You have the decision on who you want to work with when it comes. So if you'll be getting financing, you need to get pre-approved with the lender, and that lender is going to analyze your debt to income ratio, your income, and ultimately where you want your monthly payment to be. And your monthly payment is going to be based off of obviously the purchase price, how much money you're putting down, and whatever the interest rate is at that time period. In general, for the last few years, interest rates have been bouncing back between mid-5s to high 6s, but that can change at any time. So you want to talk to your realtor to see where the rates are now, and then get the pre-approval process started to understand exactly where interest rates are. Now, one side note to interest rates before we move on with the actual financing stuff. Interest rates change, and ultimately you can refinance your house at a later date to lower your monthly payment, no matter where the interest rate is when you purchase the property. The only catch to that is you don't know when interest rates are going to drop. So, you may be stuck at that interest rate for several years, depending on what's going on in the economy and the market and all that fun stuff. So you can always refinance. You're not stuck at that interest rate, but you don't know when you're going to be able to refinance. So that's just something to keep in mind. So you should be happy when you make the purchase with where you are, in case you're never able to actually refinance. So just keep that in mind with interest rates. When getting financing, and you will talk to your lender about this to figure out exactly which loan program works best for you. There is conventional, there is FHA, and there is VA. VA is specifically for veterans. FHA is designed for first-time home buyers, and conventional is for everyone else. Now, a first-time home buyer can get a conventional loan. A veteran can get a conventional loan, but it's not the other way around. So somebody that's bought 2 or 3 houses cannot get an FHA loan. And if you're not a veteran, you can't get a VA loan. So all that makes sense. With conventional loans, you can put as little down as 3% up to 20% or more. So there is a wide range of how much money you can put down on a house. So if you're buying a $300,000 house, just as an example, if you're putting 3% down, it would be $9,000 to purchase the house. If you're putting 20% down, it would be $60,000 to purchase the house. So you have a wide range of amounts you can put down depending on what you're pre-approved for. The more money you put down, the less your monthly payment's going to be. So always keep that in mind. But you can start with as little as 3%, depending on the purchase price, what type of house you're looking for. FHA loans are 3.5% down minimum. You can put more down. And VA loans are actually 0% down. So they're a really nice program designed for veterans to help them be able to buy a house. So in general, those are the 3 types of loans, and then varying amounts that you're putting down on property. So it really just depends on what you're comfortable with, what you're financially able to do, and what makes sense for the purchase. So once we get all of the pre-approval process out of the way, or determine whether you're able to buy with cash or not, the next step is to start looking at properties. So as your realtor, I will get a search set up for you that you'll get an email every day when new properties hit the market. You can take a look at those properties. You let me know if you want to schedule showings, and then we schedule the showing. So in general, to schedule a showing, you need about 24 hours notice, because a lot of the times these properties are occupied by the seller, and they need notice to be able to set up the showing and make sure the house is all tidied up and looking good for us when we go in and take a tour. Depending on the market, depending on how much inventory, how many homes are on the market, in general, we'll be able to go look at, 3, 4, 5 homes in a showing to see, what each one offers, price range, amenities, layout, to see which one you like. In a normal market, when there's inventory on the market, you should be able to find your house, that dream home that feels right to you, within the first, 7 to 10 showings. You can find out on the first one, might take the 10th house, but in general, that's how long it takes if you understand exactly what you're looking for, location, and the right price range. It can take much longer than that. In our area, there has been a limited amount of inventory over the last few years, so it might take you, one house a week hits the market, you go look at it, and that's not the right house, you keep looking. So, the process can take anywhere from a few weeks to find your house to a few months, but if you know what you're looking for and you're happy with the area you're looking in and the type of house and the price range, in general, you'll find your house in the first few months of looking for a house. So once we find that house that feels like home, the next step in the process is writing the offer. Watch part 2 to see exactly how we do that and how we get you that house and get you to the settlement table.